So I've been trying to write an intro thing for a commentary for a while now. It's been like 3.5 years since I made one of these. Let's just cut to the chase. So you might have noticed that my avatar looks a little different from the last time she was on my channel. That's because I was actually really inspired by one piece of art she had received before. I liked one of the design choices that was on that, and I went to Yuki Goomba to commission a redesign and some stills for it because I wanted to go with that idea. Don't get me wrong, I still appreciate all the people who drew her before, including her previous two main artists, Jasmine and Brooke, and I still recommend their art either way, but moving forward, I want to have more consistency with my stills in each video. Granted, I still need to commission more stills from Yuki, but in the meantime, I can work with what I have. Oh, and also I gave her a different name, MM. It still encapsulates her inspirations at the end of the day, but it's much easier to say and spell, and I also like eating candy. We all win! I forgot, what was I doing here again?
Hello everyone, it is I, Veritas.
Oh, right, yeah, I still do commentaries. Anyways, I'm gonna recover from the Katy Perry whiplash, so I'll let this guy explain the degrees. It's not like he's wrong about them, and I don't want to explain it myself.
And this video once appeared in my recommendations. The video in question is a commentary by Emo's World on the Affirmatator and Destroyer Shy's commentary on Zach Goes Red's now deleted commentary on Shari 5's video on Pokemon. Not only will I be going over the flaws of this video, but I will also be going over the flaws of Miss World's channel in general later on.
Keep this in mind for later, blah blah blah. Commentators, can we please bring back audio ducks? It helps save on time.
In the bumper intro, but I am aware that I'm particularly late to the party with talking about TTC.
Why the hell would you use a different character for your avatar during the disclaimer? Was your editing software unable to handle that many images of the funny Homestuck character?
Wouldn't adding more images in general do that, if that were even true? But back on topic. Who cares? Well, okay, you care, that's why you're making the point. But this is such a non-issue at the end of the day. I know nitpicks are not inherently bad or wrong or all those other synonyms, but what makes a nitpick not necessarily bad or wrong or all those other synonyms is how they can still add and be used constructively. What does "your avatar is different" here particularly add? Besides, this is a disclaimer that's segmented apart from the rest of her video, so it's not even like it's particularly jarring or anything. Or maybe it is, but you don't explain how and expect the point to stand without any strength in its legs. Bad call. Now your point's in the hospital and I am not paying for those bills. Those things are expensive.
And also, I'm not covering the video everybody else is going after, but if I do make any sort of similar talking points to other videos, I wanted to make it clear that I didn't try and steal any of their points. It's just a coincidence.
You literally just said you would be covering a different video. How can your points possibly be similar when the video you're covering isn't even the same video that everyone else is making a commentary on?
Not even a minute ago in your video, you mentioned how to be going over the flaws with Emma's channel. Wouldn't that entail that her videos have similar talking points in regards to those flaws? Like, buddy, two different videos can have similar problems, especially if there's some commonality between the two, such as, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, the two commentators in both being Ephraim and Destroyer Shy. Just as an example.
Hey DS, you're Red, right?
No.
Because this guy named Zach Goes Red did a video on Shari 5.
Amo, didn't you already explain the context of this video? Why would you play out the opening for context? That's repetitive.
While I'll admit that Emma's wording in her little text blurb could have used work, it wasn't context for the video, it was context for her points. See, when we actually start Emma's interjection, she's talking about how there were already so many problems, such as their chemistry, their skit, and their editing. Things that would need context. Lo and behold, the point of playing their intro skit out, not for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of commentary. An argument could be made that there's still repetition afoot, since Emma also goes over the degrees, but even then, the way they both present themselves are different enough to not be redundant, with TTC going over the subject matter more, and Emma mostly focusing on clarifying who is who.
Anyways, because this editing is driving me up the wall, I'm going to be re-editing their points and giving them Sheldon Cooper and Leonard from The Big Bang Theory, because this is why we don't get to have nice things.
Why? That is such a weird and arbitrary thing to do, and you're wasting time by doing that.
Emma literally told you why in the clip you provided.
Because this editing is driving me up the wall.
Never mind anything you might have cut, that also explains why. Also, while it is more work, re-editing someone's video can allow you to do something entertaining with that editing, such as Emma swapping out their avatars with Bazinga and Bozingo, or just not have the audience suffer through the problems that the editor had to deal with. Also, why isn't bad editing a good reason to re-edit their video? All you say is that it's arbitrary, but newsflash, arbitrary isn't necessarily a bad reason either. Want to actually explain why these things are a problem?
What? You're not even going to do it for all of the interjections? What's even the point of doing it in the first place?
Because this editing is driving me up the wall.
Even then, the points that don't have Bazingi and Buzingu still possess context that Emma leaves unedited, showing that it's not her fucking with the video, but the video fucking itself. You know, stuff like Ephraim cutting off Destroyer Shy in the middle of its points to either make his own point or to skip. Or how Ephraim let a clip drag while having the clip make his point for him. Stuff like that. Pickers are actually shown this as opposed to just taking Emma's word. Who knew being honest was a bad thing?
Regarding your disclaimer, first off, I see you still haven't learned how to spell Shari 5 in the time between my last commentary on you and now. Shari has 2 R's in it, not 1. This is a mistake repeated throughout the entire video, by the way, which leads to some especially humorous moments when we see him counting Shari 5s with 1 R, sins, on top of the screen, despite seeing Shari with 2 R's name on the screen at the same point of the video. For that matter, I have no idea what a controversy is, although I assume it's related to the concept of a controversy. Oh, also, sentences end with periods, not ellipses, and if that is supposed to be an ellipses, you're supposed to put a space between each period. Also, the sentence structure here is just horrible. There should be either a comma or a period after the word content, and the and should be cut, with I don't want to start any controversy being its own sentence. Also, it should be with this video, not for this video.
Shut the fuck up!
Ephraim, buddy, pal, compadre. I did this joke in my last video, so you get it. Did you really need to spend nearly a minute to make a point that is essentially
Lol, you spelled stuff wrong, you idiot.
That argument only works if the original attempt at correcting one's grammar was insignificant. This instance was not insignificant. The original paragraph didn't have just one misspelling. The entire thing lacked grammatical everything, and Ephraim was more than justified to point that out.
Emma's point wasn't calling out Ephraim for identifying grammatical errors. Emma's point was calling him out for taking as long as he did, especially in relation to how we can still understand what Zach was trying to say despite these issues. He doesn't hate Shari, he was just trying to fix his video, and he doesn't want any controversy to come from it. Hell, Ephraim was largely able to identify the mistakes in the first place because he understood what Zach was trying to say. Besides, just because there were multiple grammatical errors doesn't mean he had to spend as much time on it. I know I wouldn't. Watch. Shari's name is spelled with 2 R's, something that's even shown in your video. There should be a comma after context. Replace the end with a period, the rest should be its own sentence. Controversy is spelled with a second O, not an I. It's with this video, not for this video. There should be spaces between the periods and the ellipses, and also that should just be a single period anyways. Even if Ephraim's attempt at what I just did wouldn't be as fast, whether it be due to Ephraim's own talking speed or maybe adding a few additional words here or there, it's still possible for Ephraim to have made his points in less time.
And if you're wondering why I'm using a different avatar for this, your mother.
Oh, that's great.
Listen, it's not my fault you couldn't tech your mother. Sounds like a sketch show to me.
Where did he go? There's no way out from here.
He jumped over the fence.
No, he didn't. By that logic, you could also do that. You are aware you could jump over ledges in this very game, right? Like, did you even bother to proof check this video beforehand? Then again, concerning the rest of this video, I think I just answered my own question.
Okay, to pull a card from your deck, where's your proof that he didn't?
Hello, class. Welcome to Epistemology 101.
Step 1 of making piss. You drink water. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. Wait, it's not then what the fuck is epistemology supposed to be?
Can anyone here tell me if it is possible to prove a negative? Actually, don't answer that. I'll tell you. It's not.
But that would require Destroyer Shy to have made a purely negative argument. Not in this case. He would go on to make the positive claim that you can jump over ledges, which he did not prove. Just because one responds to a positive claim does not mean that one cannot therein make a positive claim themselves. Besides, do you have any proof that his claim is purely negative? You pissmaker?
With your ability, you could become a top leader in Team Rocket. Buddy, I'm 10. You really think that putting a 10-year-old in possession of a fire-breathing lizard in any sort of position of power for a crime syndicate is a good idea? I wouldn't do that even if they didn't have the fire-breathing lizard.
He probably means when you're an old age. No, I get you might need an ID when you're 16 in order to get a job, but he probably means at an old age.
You say that, but you realize this is a series where you can catch legendary Pokemon and basically do anything you want, right? And considering the police in this game, yeah, I'm still surprised there isn't more crime, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay, but what was the point of this?
Wow, what an insightful and meaningful point built upon such convincing evidence that you made right there, Miss World. But seriously, that right there was a big fat waste of time. Don't ever do that again.
Hey, hypocrite that you are, shut the fuck up.
And if you're wondering why I'm using a different avatar for this, your mother.
Oh, that's great.
Even worse, Emma actually has an argument here. Emma was questioning why Destroyer's comments about the police and crime in Pokemon were there to begin with. Asking for the relevancy of a point when the point seems to lack said relevancy is not simply a waste of time, and is most certainly not worth your condescension.
Anyway, that's all that sucked of that video. Let's move on to general flaws with her channel, starting with her thumbnail designs because, oh my god, my eyes.
Did you really need to put all those quotes there? Because all it does is make my eyes water with disgust. And it's not like this other thumbnail is any better. Simplicity is the key to good thumbnail design. Take inspiration from Moi next time.
Why is simplicity better? You don't actually explain what the problems are other than there is a lot, not leaving any room for your argument to stand on. What the fuck are you doing with your children? The hospital can only hold so many people. Besides, personally speaking, I prefer Emma's thumbnails over yours. Yours are simple and, I guess, effective enough. They at least convey the idea of what you're covering and who you're using. But Emma's thumbnails still catch my eye while still conveying those very same things that I just gave you credit for, and it still stands out when compared to other commentators whose thumbnails are more uniform in that they have their avatar and their target's avatar. I understand that's all my opinion. My opinion isn't going to dismantle the patriarchy that is objectivity. But your point is also just that, a purely subjective stance on her thumbnails. But even if we were to have Emily downgrade to a simple thumbnail design, why does it have to be right here versus screen here? There are other template ideas that don't do that, but still convey the topic of the video, or at least who's being covered. Like Duotones, or Sarah Dust, or Stagmaster 15, or Keyblade Master. Heck, if you just want a simple thumbnail, we can just crop the current one to focus on Emos, Ephraim's, and Destroyer Shy's heads. There's literally so much more you could have done if you wanted to put your subjective stance on commentary thumbnails, but you did so little it's making piss again. Hydrate! Hydrate! Well, that transitions nicely into the post point. Hello everybody, this is Post TP, here with a different avatar than main body TP because I felt like it. Anyways, since the initial recording of this commentary, Veritas has gone ahead and changed their thumbnail style to be something completely different. Likely in response to people calling their old style completely generic, but that's neither here nor there. Regardless of why they changed it or how much better this new one might be, this still ultimately doesn't address the two biggest flaws with the point. Those being that your flaw with Emma's thumbnails is completely subjective, and that you don't really explain anything outside of simple good, a lot of stuff bad. You just say they are and you leave it at that. How are we supposed to see your point if you don't explain, let alone agree with your point? If your thumbnails end up being better as a result of this change, more power to you. Your point still kinda sucks though.
Finally, I want to talk about the images you use for your avatar. The unofficial images, that is. This is something I brought up before in my video on Raven Pines, and I want to elaborate further on. Yes, obviously no one is banned from using fan art of characters, but it's still shit. You see, making presentable and optically appeasing slideshow commentaries is a lot like making a good flag. Yes, you don't have to follow any rules or basic cohesion when creating it, but when you don't, then the results are
vomiting over a flag,
now,
huh?
I am not
What are you,
a
a
Homestead
transphobe?
fan, so I'm not 100% sure which art is official, but It's pretty easy to tell which isn't because of how jarring it is. Many of the Vriska fan art you used is so out there and nonsensical that your videos lack any cohesion or reason to them.
What do you mean lack cohesion? There's absolutely cohesion in all the Vriska images she's using because they're all Vriska. It's not even like he doesn't credit them. Sure, it's not in video, but there's an entire Google document in the description that does just that, and it does not stop being credit. But hey, you want to talk about cohesion? Let's look at Katy Perry. You know, your avatar for this video. The one who had the hairstyles that range from the 1950s to Blade Runner California. The one that dresses like an Embor. The one that got away. In another life, I would be your girl.
The best thing you can do is limit yourself to official art. If that's too hard, then I guess you could just exclusively use these nifty looking Vriska stills I've seen you use throughout your videos. Even that option is a billion times better than going, hey looky here, this image got the funny Homestuck character, so I gotta put it in, you guys, golly gee!
I'm saying this as someone who also prefers official images, or at least a more consistent set of PNGs to use. Heck, it's part of the reason why I commissioned Yuki for an avatar set, rather than just using whatever images I got of MM and that picture of Susie. So trust me, I get preferring consistency. However, this is still at its core your opinion. Sure, you can argue your opinion all you want, or barely if at all in your case, but the way it's done here lacks anything that makes Emo's use of fan art a flaw, as much as it is just a preference that you don't seem to dig. On the topic of Vriska fan art, let's talk about the one you used. Since no one else seems to have pointed this out in the commentary, that's cropped porn. For what it's worth, it's at least credited, though it's not marked as 18+, and the fact that it is cropped porn goes against your point, since now it becomes clear that there's at least a boundary with Emo and Vriska fan art, a boundary that she does not cross by cropping the image or marking the link as NSFW.
So yeah, living on this world already sucks ass. I really don't think living on Emo's world would be any better.
Man, I can't believe you're able to judge an entire world based on... Hold on, let me check my notes. Not even a tenth of a video! Look, you don't have to like Emo's style, you don't have to like her editing, you don't have to like any of that. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what you should and should not like. Other than me, but that's just because I still have trouble liking myself and I need help. But other than that, Emo's editing and thumbnails and whatever are not for you. That's okay, that's cool, doesn't make this commentary good. Speaking of not good, I'm gonna talk about one more thing related to this commentary. So, Ephraim went to Doodle Tones about this the morning after the video was posted, going to her about a thought he had that the video this guy did was meant to suck up to him, and how Ephraim doesn't want to be blamed for it. Now, let it be known, I don't think it's Ephraim's fault. Someone wanting to please their senpai doesn't mean you're at fault for something you didn't do. Unless you secretly ghost wrote the script, but then you'd be calling the script you wrote a piece of shit, and I don't think you'd write something intentionally bad like that. Even then, he still would have had to agree, record, edit, ignore his children, drink too much water, and publish. So, yeah, final thoughts. Pay attention, don't rely on your own subjectivity, explain, and remind me how to end videos because I forget.